We can start with dogs.
Dogs.
Dog stream.
My dog.
Dogs.
Dogs. My dog.
I've got it.
My dog.
I've got an echo. That is probably me somewhere. Let me see what that is.
Do you want me to? I can put my
it's...
in if you want.
I think it was me actually. I had another Twitch screen open that I didn't need, so I think we're good. Hey Ash, good to see you here. I know, that's Donde. We're just checking out your puppy. Ah, so cute. We've got Calvin in the background itching himself. And we've got Cheddar. We've got Cheddar here. Neil City, what's up? So good to see you here. Oh no, it doesn't, Ash. I've got to fix it. It's like so crooked. Anyway, we'll get there. I thought it was okay that I'm looking at it on stream. I'm like, it's absolutely not. I need to start my music. Let me do that. And then I think we're good.
Just trying to find something.
And then we're... Okay.
No, I can't find it.
What is it? What are you trying to find?
Just a particular book.
Ah.
It's somewhere else.
I'm trying to call... Oh, okay. How are you, anyway?
I'm good.
We've got a couple of people in the chat, which is great.
Internet, I can show you a picture.
Oh, yes.
You'll like this.
Okay.
This is...
Hey, Kiki.
This is who he's named after.
Ah, is it a graph artist?
Yeah.
That's sick. Very dope. Very dope.
Very hip hop.
What up, Kiki? Nice to see you in the chat. People will start coming in, so we'll just hang out for a bit. But how are you going? Hi, 80. Good to see you in the chat as well. I don't know, Joel. I'm just gonna read out the chat like people as they come in, but I don't know if you want to get the stream up on your phone or not. It's up to you. You don't have to.
I don't know how to do anything, so you can.
That's actually amazing.
I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get a Twitch and like call friends and have chats to them on Twitch, and that was 18 months ago.
Oh, that's hilarious. What up, Shelly? Shelly's in the chat.
On Google and I was like, that's too hard. I do
it. It is actually quite complicated, I won't lie. It's been months. Well, it's been over a year now of just wading through tech difficulties, but
yeah.
What up, Jazz? Nice to see you here as well. It's so nice to have you here today, Joel. It was great to bump into you at the airport the other day. That was so funny when I was like, I could see your whole band, but I can't see you. And then you were like, you took a photo of yourself and you were literally right in front of me. And I couldn't see you. That was so funny. How did you find the festival? Was that your first festival back at Big Pineapple?
Yeah. First show, first festival.
How did it feel?
It felt good. Pretty good. I felt like really unfit.
Yes, you said that. You said to me you were like, you're not show fit. You haven't been running up and down stages.
Yeah.
And screaming.
I've been doing Muay Thai for coming up on a year now, but it's just different because you're not screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
I've put on some like COVID weight, you know? It's the good stuff. The dad bods are...
Just to... Look, anyone that hasn't done that during COVID, it's unusual, let's put it that way. Yeah. But yeah, it must have felt really great. So it would have been over 18 months since you've done a show? Over a year, definitely.
Over a year. I think it was just over a year, maybe like 14 months or something. Because we did play in Europe we got home last March. Whenever the pandemic really kicked into gear, we got home a week before that. Like we just got back. Uh,
Wow.
and I remember we were telling these nuts went over to Europe and we were like, "Yo, you shouldn't go. Like it's
You
bad."
should be. Yeah. 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 Did they get back okay?
Um, I don't know. I can't remember, but I know that like fucked them financially because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
costs a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
money to go over there. It's like you have to, especially for a hardcore band. I mean, we've got well, we're in a better position than them, but we used to have to do it as well, like pay up front to get over to America or Europe or whatever, and then just hope that you made the money back, which we didn't for a long
I
time.
don't. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Hey,
No, it
like,
costs like 30 grand to get Amity anywhere.
yeah, and then you've just got to hope that. I mean, obviously you guys are in a better position now, but like, just hope that tickets sell really well and you'll recoup that back.
Yeah, but we for like until like the until 2019, we touring Australia paid for touring the world.
Yeah. Well,
So
for those who don't know, like a lot of people obviously know who you are, but if those who don't, how long have you been? How long have you been with Amity, and have you always been making music?
I've been with them with them. I've been in the band for 17 years. Um,
I've been in the band, which is my band, but
yeah, yeah. I've been in the band for 17 years, and before that, I did two bands before it, and before that, I had given no thought at all to being in a band ever in my entire life.
wow.
Yeah, and
What were
I
you
when
doing
I
before that? What were you doing for work and stuff before that sort of kicked off?
for work before Amity.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's a long time ago, so you're probably like a teenager, but
Yeah, so I came out of school. I did really badly in school. I didn't care about it. I had my goal was to play volleyball for Australia, and then
oh my god, I
yeah, and
know a
then
bunch of volleyballers. That's so dope.
and then I didn't make the cut. And my friend, I'm 6'2", and my friend was 6'4", and he ended up playing for Australia in the Olympics, and he was
Oh
like
my god.
noticeably shorter than the rest of the team. So I don't
Wow.
think I didn't have a chance. And too tall to play libero and too short to play in the team. But probably, I was I mean I trained, but a lot of the people that made the Australian team like trained in their off training time, and that
Yep.
wasn't for me. I was like skating and surfing
Yes.
and then
Oh my god.
graffiti.
Your story with volleyball sounds very similar to my story with basketball. I was the same. I wanted to play for Australia, but I was just lazy. And people
Yeah,
told me like I had the ability, but I was too lazy. So
yeah. I would
I
have
got
had
told when I was young, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I feel ya. And then I moved to Brisbane to do um, like a programming to go to this like college for programming kind of thing. It was like where you go,
Yeah.
I don't know, like TAFE for computers. And I did all right, but I
Yep.
didn't care about it. And I'd started doing graffiti, and I just got obsessed. And yeah, so I just did graffiti. I basically became homeless because I was just obsessed with graffiti, and I couldn't do anything else. And so I was like sleeping on the street and then sleeping on friends' couches for a fairly long time, like 6 to 8 months or something. Um, but still
Wow.
but still painting. So just like stealing
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And
And you still
then
paint, don't you? I've seen you post stuff on Twitter and stuff before.
yeah, yeah, I do paint still. I do. murals, and then I do some like graffiti every now and then, just locally on the gym that
Yep.
I go to, basically, and a skate park. But other than that, I'm
Shelley's saying she owns a few of your prints, which is very cute. Shelley's
oh nice. I
a
know.
photographer that lives in New Zealand, so you probably would have come across her on Twitter before, I reckon.
Here's one right here.
Hey, there you
But
go.
that's like the original one. It's
That's very cool.
yeah, that's the hell I put
So
myself
dope.
through. Yeah, I think
I
I'm
love it.
actually in America on Warped Tour, I believe.
Ah, that sounds about right. She's everywhere. I swear
Yeah,
to God, she's
yeah.
literally everywhere.
Big music fan.
A big music fan and an awesome photographer as well,
Yeah,
and a great part of the community, which is very exciting.
yeah.
So do you reckon you would have stuck down that path of kind of doing more art based stuff if you weren't in a band now?
Yeah, because so after I got my shit together and got a job and moved in with friends, I applied to do a fine arts course at QUT and got in
Ah,
to
awesome.
do communication design. Was doing, fine, and then I just stopped going. My GPA dropped significantly, and then I was like, I'll give it another go. And I didn't go again. And yeah, I got a letter saying you cannot attend this university anymore. And so I was just like, when I was going there, I was like, I already know how to do this. Like, I don't need you to tell me.
Mm.
In hindsight, it would have
Yeah.
been very nice to learn the next 2 years of the course where I didn't know everything they were doing. But
Isn't it funny, like the
young.
hindsight thing?
Yeah,
It's so like when you get older and you're just like, oh god. Like my husband gets this a lot because he was a shithead, and there's so many things he's just like, oh god, why didn't I just do this or what? Like he's turned out great as well, but it's just like you just can't when you're that type of teenager or that young person, you just can't tell you anything. It must be very frustrating as
no,
parents.
absolutely not. And well, I had like a pretty shitty childhood, but yeah, I just wasn't interested. I was too busy, like too busy doing other shit, and so I started doing graphic design on my own. I designed the first Parkway Drive shirt and the first,
There you go. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, the first one they ever had. And
Sick.
yeah, just started working for local bands, and then at some point started working for bands all over Australia, and then started getting work from American bands as well. And then the band started doing well, and I was like, well, fuck that. So
Yeah.
I made way less money um, because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
Also a hindsight thing because I did Severed Ties. I did everything by the front cover for Youngbloods. I did, and then I did Misery, and then Everyone Loves You Once You Leave Them. That's all me, and I could probably be doing
Wow.
that for other bands, but I'm not.
Yeah. But you're not. You got your own band, so
Yeah,
that's what happens when you become successful in doing that.
yeah.
So, and like, how long did it take, I guess, for Amity to really start kind of kicking? Was it a bit of a slog in the beginning?
It was 6 years before um, we started paying ourselves a wage, and the first wage we paid ourselves was $150 a week, and we were like, we were just like, we've made it. We have fucking made it. And
I
we
love
had a
that.
we
I
had
love that. That's like, at that point, would have been a lot of money. You were like, we're paying ourselves something now. This is
yeah,
great.
yeah, it was crazy. And we never had aspirations. We did it for fun, and um that's something a lot of people are like, oh, what do you tell people that are starting a band? And I'm like, just do it for fun or you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I've,
I'd say the same. It's hard with photography as well. If you don't love it, and if you're doing it for the money, especially music photography,
oh, you're not going to go
you're
anywhere.
in the wrong industry.
Yeah,
You're gonna go
that's it.
nowhere.
That's
Yeah,
it. And
yeah,
I think, I think people see like Homeboy like that, El Matthias or whatever, and they're like, wow, like he's
yeah,
making so much money. And it's like, probably not. And if you look at how hard he hustles on the side, like
yeah.
he hustles hard and he's like a big,
Absolutely.
big photographer, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm sure he's doing all right, but just speaking as someone who is fairly consistently bombarded by people telling me I'm rich, I know that what people see is not what they get. Yeah.
yeah.
So
There's such a weird perception. I think specifically with musicians,
yeah,
that like what success looks like specifically in Australia, it's very very different than potentially what people think that life would be like.
yeah, and it's kind of weird because like just Australian rappers, people don't think they're making that much money for some reason, but they're making way more money than everyone else. It's fucking weird. Like,
Well, if you think of yeah, especially if you think about the hoods and probably
yeah,
Listen Esso,
like
like those
I
guys.
I remember hearing about one of their performance fees and nearly fucking falling off
Yeah.
the chair. Just like, say that again.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
What?
but,
It's
you
it's
know,
so it's so interesting because I've been in that scene for so long and seen their come up and from a point that was basically Australian hip hop was a joke, and it kind of became more serious and really accepted, and now like especially with the hoods are like it's like one of those Australian bands that like everybody likes, and it's like generational as well. Like they've kind of crossed over into that weird.
they're they're the Australian Jurassic 5.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And they're on every festival. You know that you're going to get a great show. They've
yeah,
got great tunes that everybody loves. So
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Who the fuck doesn't love Hilltop? Jack
yeah.
was listening to Hilltop as he was cleaning today, so
Yeah,
he knows.
they're like I don't know them, but from everything I've heard from everybody, they're like they give back to the community. They work really hard to be like good people pushing for equity and
Exactly.
that's the
Yeah,
most important part.
that's all you can do, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
be successful and do the right thing with it, and that's really good. But yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's hustling. Photography.
Everyone's hustling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your photography. I want to talk about your photography because when we became friends, like randomly a couple of years ago, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know really. I knew the band, like I'd heard of the band, obviously, because
Yeah.
they're you guys are pretty big. But I didn't know any of you guys. I didn't really know anything about you, and then I got to know you and that you love photography, which has been really cool just to get to know that side of you. I'm going to show some of your work now as well. But I'd love to know how you got started and where that passion came, because like the majority of the people in my community are obviously photographers, so they
Yeah.
love hearing about this stuff.
So we were touring in 2008, and it was the first time we thought, let's take a photographer because these shows are actually, we were playing to like 500 to 800 people or something, and we were like, fuck, that's wild for us. So we'll take a photographer, and we took James Hartley, and at the time he was
Yeah,
like,
someone just asked a question. Was Hartley an inspiration to get into it?
yeah,
Brisbane Bin Chicken. Great name, by the way.
yeah. So he was like it was like him and this other dude were like the two hardcore photographers that you got, and it was like I really want someone. I actually there's this chick that is doing it in Australia, and I can't remember her name because I don't go on Instagram much, but
Ah, yes.
she's taking photos of all these hardcore bands, and she's doing it
Shh.
in like this like classic kind of hardcore way with like 2 slave flashes set up before the show, and then just the remote on top and shooting like that. And it's so fucking sick. I love it. And
so shooting like a studio style portrait, but just before the shows, like she's setting up like a mini.
No, like during like live shots. But
live.
Because
sick.
hardcore shows are so small.
Yeah. Got
like
you.
Yeah, the
I'm
2
trying to
flashes
think of who
just
that is.
light up the room kind of thing. And it looks amazing, and I love it. And like some really wide angle stuff, like shooting 21mm kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, Hartley was doing that, and he was, you know, he had different flash setups, and I was sort of thinking I should be documenting this because this is not normal. Like this is not a normal experience to be touring Australia, like just seeing so much stuff in Australia that not many people see, and then because he was shooting digital, I'm like a bit pig-headed, and I was like, well, I'm not doing that. Like, fuck that. I'm gonna shoot film. And so I started shooting film really, really badly for like the next 4 years. Or after 2 years, I was starting to get some photos I was happy with a variety of like super cheap, like found op shop cameras, and this is before the sort of resurgence of film, and it was like impossible to get good film. So I was just shooting with Kodak Ultramax basically, and that's what a lot of this is shot on at the beginning. Like
yes, Shelley mentioned that before. Shelley mentioned your book Prelude. She's got a copy of it. So
this picture is taken on a $4 Minolta that I found in a shop somewhere, and
that's so sick.
Yeah, it's like I got all these photos, which, you know, it's like
love.
Yeah, it's like pretty magical, and you know, like first trip to New York City.
So beautiful.
That was the first time.
Look at that! Oh my god!
It's like the first time I'd ever used Ilford because I could get it because I was in.
Oh yeah, god, gorgeous film.
Yeah, and this is like out of focus, but I still like it. That's a food truck across the road from where Big L got shot.
Holy shit!
In Harlem, so they were just chilling.
That's the dope thing about film too, is like you start noticing that the imperfections is what makes it really beautiful.
Yeah.
As someone that I've started shooting film quite recently, just in the last couple of years.
I told you.
And that's the one thing that I've noticed.
I remember telling you, I was like, just do it. It's easy. Because you can.
You did.
You can just pick up the box of what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like.
Yeah. And it's. I've gone crazy now. I'm shooting a lot of film. Oh, look at that. That's so sick.
Yeah. So that's in the desert in Texas, like first ever tour of America. I haven't looked at this in ages. It's pretty nice.
Can you still buy that book, by the way? Is it still available?
It's sold out. So.
Bummer. I was going to plug it for you.
Yeah.
You have to do a rerun.
Well, I'm thinking about sending it to a publisher. Like sending the actual book.
Yes.
Saying, hey, I already made it.
A bunch of people have just said they want one, so
yeah.
You're gonna have to do that. So.
Like this here is Aaron and Todd, aka Louis Knox, in this hotel in
Louis.
Yeah, in this hotel in Germany, and they were like, Joel Birch, we're gonna smoke inside, and I went, go for it, as long as I can take a photo, because I didn't smoke, and I took the photo, and then I shut the door, and then I went to the bathroom and wet a towel and stuck it at the door so that I wouldn't be able to smell the cigarette smoke. And we were all like very drunk, but it smoked their whole room out. And
oh my god!
I was like,
it was like, oh my god, that's That's so funny.
Yeah, that was like
That's amazing.
3 months on tour, like 3 months straight on tour, and getting a hotel like once every 3 to 4 weeks. So it was like
Yeah.
that was luxury, and it was like
When you were touring, do you have how did you tour? Did you have a tour bus? I mean, obviously in Australia we don't really do tour buses here as much, but did you have one when you're in America?
we did 13 tours in a van.
In a van. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's next level.
13 tours. I'll have a photo of one here somewhere. Um, yeah, 13 really fucked. And this is how
That's so.
this is where we spent 3 months in Europe.
Oh my god. I don't know if I would be cut out for that type of touring. I
Yeah.
think that would be a challenge. I'm totally fine when we have a bus and I have somewhere to sleep and
Yeah.
and I can pee in the middle of the night. But
Yeah.
that'd be a struggle.
Yeah, it's not the best. I'm trying to find a photo
It's
of
not
that
the-
van.
Gypsy J said, I've been tempted to buy another film camera, but I know I'd end up not processing the film. That's so funny.
That's good.
I have to
because as long as
process
you don't lose
immediately.
the film, as long as you don't
Yeah,
lose
you
the
can get it
film,
done.
one day you'll be in for a beautiful surprise.
Oh, yeah, exactly. One day, yeah, that's so hilarious. Just get it done like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Games with Sky wrote, Michelle, thank you so much for this stream with Joel. This has taken me back to my days of doing live music photography. Amity was one of the first bands I took photos of and they turned out awful, but also turned out into be a massive passion of mine. I miss those days. Well, Sky, you are always welcome here. This is a live music photography stream, essentially. So that's what we do here. That's such a dope photo. Oh my God, look at that.
That's me doing live
That's
music.
great. That's so great. It's so good.
I was like, I think I was watching Let Live for that shot, and I was pointing the camera at Let Live, and I was like, it's a bit boring for me, because I do it. I was like, I'm gonna turn around and
Get the crowd.
Yeah, way more.
I love that so much. Shelley asked before, have you always shot on Leica? I'm assuming that was a progression.
No, it's taken me 10. It took me 10 years to get my first Leica. It was a slow. It was like buying a camera, selling it because I had a bit more money to buy. Like if I sold the camera, I could buy another camera with a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. My first Leica was an M3 and it was stolen.
Oh my God.
I know heaps of criminals, and this guy was in Munich actually, from the Leica store, and he was just looking because he's a curious person, and there was some guy in there like obviously had money and was looking to buy several cameras at the same time, and so the store clerk put them all on the table on like the counter. And the counter was an L shape, and the guy turned around, and my friend just grabbed the closest one and chucked it in his jacket and wiped the doors with his jacket on the way out of the store, and then he said, "Hey, I've got this camera," and I was like, "Bro, that's like the brand that I want," and so he sold it to me for $500.
That's not where I was expecting this story to go.
No, well, like I grew up in graffiti.
Wow.
I was shoplifters in graffiti.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Yeah, my first Leica was a criminal.
A criminal purchase.
But you know what?
But you obviously.
It was from a shop. It wasn't from a person. I don't support personal theft, but I do support shoplifting from multinational
corporations.
Yeah. Fuck 'em.
I thought you might say that. That's so funny. Welcome No Scope as well to the stream. There's a bunch of new people to the stream watching today. Please, if you feel like you're loving what you're seeing in the stream today, chuck us a follow. Really lovely to have you here today, and really lovely to have Joel Birch from the Amity Affliction. We're looking at some of his own photography today. I'm looking at some of your couples and wedding stuff. One thing I noticed that when you were touring, you often would put the call out to shoot with people while you're on tour.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Was that just like having lots of downtime and
No, my wife told me to do
wanting
it.
stuff to do? Oh, my God, she's smart.
Yeah.
Smart woman.
I was like, what? She goes, people will want it. And I'm like, nah. Turns out I was wrong. And yeah.
Everybody wanted it.
Yeah. So it was, it was really good. And yeah. I shot like mostly film, and then I started shooting digital, and I think if I do them again, which is a big if, I don't know if I will, just because it can be like quite hard. I've only pulled out of one because of my mental health, but I've wanted to pull out of 50 plus just because I haven't been feeling great on the day, and I just pushed through it. So it's not like for me, sometimes I hated doing it, and then I really loved getting the film back. And then I started...
Yes.
Yeah, and then I started shooting a little bit digitally and realised that kind of took the joy out of it for me. So if I were to do it again, I'd go back to shooting 100% film, because I think I have... I'll grab it.
No Scope just said the most random thing was seeing my favourite singer on Twitch. Well, welcome to the stream. So glad that we could sort you out today.
So I have this.
That would have been super random. Oh, there we go.
Which is a Leica M10, and
That's a beautiful camera.
Yeah, and I
so great.
And I have this for the Leica, which is a water housing.
Underwater housing. Look at that. Yeah. Do you do much underwater stuff?
I do, but I don't really show anyone because it's...
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. I take a lot of photos that I don't ever show anyone. It's good.
What's that about?
Because they're mine. Because I'm possessive.
Because just for you.
They're my photos, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've got... These are all negatives here that no one's going to see. Actually.
Another book, Shelley's saying.
These are all negatives.
Oh my God.
Negatives.
It's gonna be that, like that. Do you know that that street photographer that passed away and nobody knew who she was, and then someone found all her negatives? It's gonna be like that, like in 50 years time or 100 years time or whatever.
Yeah,
someone will find your catalogue. Oh my God.
So these are all medium format photos that I haven't really shown anyone.
Oh, what medium format camera do you have?
Right now, I've had heaps. But right now I've got... sorry, hang on. Wow, it's like...
I love it. It's like show and tell. It's okay, we're looking at your photos at the same time, so...
That's all negatives.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I'm hoarding. I'm hoarding all my photos.
You are hoarding.
And then I've got...
I feel like there's 50 books in there. There's like so much work that could be...
This is the current
shown. Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and I've got... I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, I love this. I love this show and tell with Joel Birch today. This is great. Also, if you have any questions you want to ask Joel, just pop them in the chat and we'll try and get to them as well. And if you're... Hey, Alamo, good to see you here. How are you? Maybe all those criminals you know will do us a solid and release the bitches. I love that, Sky. I love that. That's amazing. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's watching today. I am a music photographer that streams quite a few days a week, and it's always music photography related content with people like Joel. Hey Stubbsy, good to see you. Oh, sick.
So an AE1 and then an AE1 program, which is I bought this just because Esteban Oriol uses it, and that's
Yeah,
it.
such an amazing photographer. I
Yeah,
profiled. I did a stream when I was talking about my top five kind of biggest influences on my work,
yeah,
and he was in my top five for sure. He's phenomenal. Did you watch the documentary that came out a little while ago?
yeah. That's when I bought the camera
Oh yeah.
because I knew he shot photos on it, but just seeing him shooting
Yeah.
with it, I was just like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I
The
don't know.
tour stuff that he shot, God, it was
Oh,
right in the middle of our lockdown, and it just, God, it made me like just miss tour
yeah,
so much. I don't know. I was actually going to ask you about that, but how have you found that kind of missing the tour life kind of vibe?
good, really good, great for the brain. Have you seen one of these before?
I have not. What's that? Tell me what that is.
This is called a Texas Leica. It's a
That's so sick.
Fuji GW692.
Whoa.
No different than the first one. I don't know why. I don't even know why they made it. It's probably got like a double exposure function or something. That's usually what they do with
Oh
cameras.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, my medium format has that double exposure function, so you always have to wind it twice unless you want to do a double exposure.
well, this one shoots 6 by 9, so you
Ah,
have to
okay.
wind it twice just to get to the next frame.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the back,
That's
and
huge. Look how big it is.
yeah, and that is like the negative is there.
Mm.
So
So
I'm
all of this amazing stuff, and like, we all want to see it, Joel. We're gonna have to put out another book.
yeah, maybe. I think maybe I'll because I have like heaps of photos from like the bus and backstage and stuff that
Yeah.
they're good, but I don't know. I just some of them are like I wouldn't want to put them out until the end of the band.
Right.
If that
Okay.
makes
They're
sense.
just like special moments, sort of thing.
Well, special or special, special.
Special or private?
Yeah, private. There's like
Private.
drug use.
That's so interesting though, because I talk about that all the time as being a music photographer. It's not applicable with Rule at all because he's been underage until this year. So there's been absolutely no shenanigans whatsoever. But other groups and bands that I've toured with, or sometimes I'll come in for a show, and there's stuff that you cover that you just like you can't ever show. Like you can't post
No,
that stuff.
no, no way.
And having that trust with the person that you're working with must be like imperative to know that like there's an element of trust there with photographers, isn't there?
Yeah, and we've just recently changed photographers. And he was with us in the studio a couple of weeks ago, and we had like a pretty big band discussion about something that needed to stay extremely private, just with in regards to one of our crew members. And I had to like, we were just having the discussion. I was like, I need to speak to Tom tomorrow about this because it's very
Yeah.
sensitive. And so,
Yeah.
as a
And
photographer,
Tom's quite new too in the space too. So
he's very
like
new in
just
the
to have
space.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just had to have that chat with him and just be like, hey man, like you really can't repeat anything you ever hear with us. And but he didn't really need the chat, but I had to have it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just good, I think, just to set those boundaries as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so great to see Tom because you probably wouldn't have known this, but Tom and I linked years ago to do just some random like exploring the city kind of vibes years ago. I'm talking like
Yeah.
8 years ago when
Yeah. Yeah, and he said
um
we were like super cool and gave him like a plan for his photography, and that was
yeah, I could
super
see he was
inspirational.
he was yeah, he
Just
was wanting to like kind of cross over into other realms as well. So like, and he was showing me stuff as well. So it was like this. We were sharing information, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I didn't know any of that, so it was cool to be because I've been friends with him for ages now, and it was kind of cool to hear about that. I got a helicopter going over.
Oh yeah, got the ghetto bird flying over the top.
There's like the airport is like 20 k's away, but they do helicopter lessons, like flying lessons.
Oh shit.
So they changed the route, right, constantly. But when it's your turn, you get like a helicopter or two a day for like a week,
Oh right.
and then they fuck off. But it's like you get to have that experience.
We were in Darwin last week, and they were doing some training of some like crazy military planes,
Oh yeah,
and they were doing it was like crazy loud during the day and at night. Randomly, it would just go for like 20 minutes, but just the loudest thing you've ever heard in your life. It was just like insane, so crazy. Oh my god! Yes, it's war game. It's exactly what it is, and there's apparently people that like fly in for like from all over the world. I didn't know about this. I learned about this.
We have like 4 American military bases here. The NSA is largely run from the middle of Australia.
How's learning this stuff? Like, absolutely no idea.
Just don't get
it's
into
crazy.
politics if you don't want to be.
Yeah. We'll avoid that topic today. Politics today.
You can get depressed quite easily.
We'll try not to get depressed today. It's all love. Somebody just brought up the topic which I wanted to bring up with you. You totally came up with this idea. When I saw you in the airport, you were like, hey, I've got this idea.
Yep.
I want to give your community a chance to shoot Amity shows on the next tour. And I want to make sure, you said they have to be subscribers to your channel, and we'll give away, was it 2 passes?
2 passes per show.
2 passes per show. So if you're a music photographer and you're keen to get more experience, there's an amazing opportunity here. So you have to be a subscriber of the channel, and we haven't worked out exactly how we're going to pick them yet, have we? We need to talk about that. Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I've noticed you do these like cool little photo projects with your...
We do challenges every week, yes.
Photo challenges. So I thought it would be cool to get everyone to reinterpret the last album cover, because I shot that.
Oh!
Yeah, I shot that photo.
That's so dope.
So that was like just a random girl who was a friend of a friend standing on a milk crate with a sheet that I'd like poured water on and dragged through the dirt.
Oh my god. All right, let's have a look at it. What's the album called? I'll pull it up.
Everyone loves you once you leave them.
Okay.
I don't even think I have one here.
All right. Images. Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Can I get it? Can I make it big?
Hang on. I have...
Oh, that's the... There we go. I got it. It's like super tiny, but we'll make it big. That one there? It's like a ghosty kind of vibe. Is that the one?
Yeah, hang on. I'll how do I... Can I send you a file on
Yes, on Skype.
Skype?
Although I did try this once and it... what are the boundaries of the interpretation? There's no boundaries, Chloe.
There are no boundaries. You take the general idea.
Take it wherever you like.
Yeah. So the general idea, the concept of the album and album title, a bit grim, but one of my really close friends killed himself, and I went to his funeral. Obviously, I spoke at his funeral, and when I was at the wake, I was just really pissed off
Mm.
because there were so many people there that like they weren't there to mourn him, and like there were also people there that I knew he wasn't talking to at the time, and
How weird is that when that happens? That's happened to me before as well. It's so bizarre. Like
yeah,
it
so
feels weird.
I called them grief jockeys.
Oh.
Yeah, and then so it was that was the that was part of it, and then the other part is just like getting getting criticized for monetizing um, my mental health problems. And some of the, I just was like, some of the same people that write me off for this shit would be the first to write, oh, he was so loved and gave so much, blah, blah, blah. Because I've seen it happen before, you know, even on a large scale with like Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell, people
Mm.
that would have shit on them for being rich and depressed, well, all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork and just being like, oh, what great people, like they made such amazing music, blah, blah, blah. And it pissed me off. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what the whole thing is. Like everyone loves you once you leave them. Um, and it's like the ghost thing is like a light-hearted kind of, it doesn't look like light-hearted, but it's like a almost like a satirical kind of statement. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
here is this ridiculous, because it is quite ridiculous. It's like a play ghost. It's like a ghost that kids say, I'm a ghost because I'm under a sheet. You know what I mean? So it's taking
Yeah.
something serious and turning it into a sort of visual representation of how I was feeling. Just like,
Yeah. 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 Fuck you, sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, that's great. It's great to get that background. So, and then so people have to reinterpret this artwork, which is going to be super fun to see where people take it, and we
however,
will
however you
select
want.
however that is.
Yeah.
And then, what up, Mickey? Great to see you here. Thanks for joining us. We will, I guess, choose per show. Like, there's going to be a bunch of shows here and America at some stage.
Yeah, so I
And
think
so we'll
maybe,
choose a couple per show.
yeah, I think for America, maybe we'll do that because we're going to be there at undisclosed time. I nearly let that out. Next year, but the tour is booked.
Don't
Uh,
say anything you're not allowed
no,
to
I'm not
say.
saying anything. I'm not snitching on myself. But yeah,
Yeah, no, no
I
snitching.
think we can do this. We can do this again, Dan, and talk about doing
Yeah, yeah.
picking
Great.
like
Okay, cool.
five people from America and doing it.
Great. Cool. So, Mill City just asked, is it re-editing the same photo or taking your own photo? It's taking your own and recreating.
Yeah,
So, a photography element, and take it wherever you want. It's up
yeah.
for interpretation.
It doesn't
You
need
can,
to be. It doesn't need to be dark. You don't need to shoot it in a forest. It just take the general ghost.
take the inspiration.
Yeah, take the general ghost vibe and do whatever you want with it.
Okay. And the deadline for this, we can make this. Actually, I'll get you to choose the deadline for this. Or
Well,
maybe we can decide. It can be a
two
TBC.
2 weeks?
2 weeks?
Is that
Alright,
enough
so
time?
we've got a challenge this week. I mean, it could be the challenge for the following week.
Yeah,
Or it could be.
or 3 weeks?
Yeah, it could be 2 weeks. Maybe 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Excellent.
Yep, we could do that. That's exciting. And thank you so much for that. It's such a huge opportunity, and I know that the community here is really going to get around it, so it's going to be super fun. Very cool.
Yeah, well, I think it's important for people to get an opportunity, and like I was saying to you, with most traditional media outlets sort of not existing anymore, like not
Mm.
many magazines and not many little zines. Especially not for our, like when you get to our level, it's not as easy to just email a promoter because you've got to email scary people at Live Nation who don't give a fuck and will just not respond to your email. um,
Yeah, if you don't have a publication to shoot for, getting into a show like yours would be impossible. Like you just
yeah,
wouldn't be able to do it unless
and
they knew you.
yeah, and I've had people hit me on Twitter and that works.
Yeah.
Because I like people
I
to.
tell people this all the time. I actually just in my masterclass that I released last week, one of the things was because I think people are scared, but it's just like
Yeah,
actually just asking. That's how I got my first ever gig. I hit up Naughty by Nature on Twitter and they said yes.
wow.
That's like how I shot my first festival because I didn't know, I wasn't sure how to shoot festivals. I was like so super green. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'll just tweet them.
yep,
And they said yes. Like
yep.
it does happen sometimes, you know?
It helps to tweet with a photo. That's all I'll say. Because some people will like
Yes.
hit me up and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, are you good? Like,
Are you good? Yeah, yeah. You have to be
you know,
decent.
like
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
the
have
other
to
thing
be,
is have
you don't
some
have to be
work to back it up.
amazing, but I'm not trying to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
like a
yeah.
fucking derp photo from this dude. Like, like get tweeted at after the show and just be like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
oh my god, we've spoken about that when we had Seth Century, who's a really dear friend of mine, on this stream recently, and he was talking about he actually made it because he's streaming on Twitch now. He's actually made the worst photo that was ever taken of him. He's made it into an emote, but it was basically like an emote on his emote on Twitch, which is hilarious. But it was like it's the like if I show you this photo, Joel, it's so funny. He's like, I don't know why anyone would post that photo, and then a festival made it like a big poster, and it's like. So imagine like the worst photo you've ever seen of yourself, and then they made that one like a festival poster.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, for a while there, people were like really enjoying posting band members' photos when they were like at the bottom of a headbang and
Oh no,
your
I don't.
skin all goes down? It's like super fucked up.
Oh my
And
god.
I,
Oh, Britt just put the emote. She just put the emote in chat, which you can't see, but the chat will be able to see the
yeah,
Seth Century. It's so fucking funny. But that it's very similar in that one's it's more chin. He's kind of going like that, so it's all like it's a
yeah,
weird
I,
chin. But like it'd be similar with the headbang.
yeah, it's really bad though. Like, fuck, I'll try and
Just
find it.
like the most unflattering angle of all time, and people
Yeah,
were posting photos.
yeah, and like the, these fucking photographers are like, just delete it. It's
Yes.
no
We've talked
no
about this
one.
so many times on the stream. This is
Yeah,
like this as part of my masterclass as well. Like think about the photo that you're posting. Would you like that photo of yourself? Like think about it from the artist's perspective. If you
yeah,
think that that's not flattering, maybe don't post it.
yeah. Like, they don't have to be model shots, but come on, man. Like,
Yeah, there's definitely a line.
yeah, it's like I know my face does that for a second, but it's not. I don't look like that in the mirror.
Are you trying to find one of the photos? I'm like dying to see what this looks like.
Yeah,
Fucking
I am
hilarious.
trying, but I can only remember this one really perfect example of this was like an ex-guitarist of ours, and
Ah, yes.
but there's
Do you
like
remember the
there's one
Beyonce
of
one? The
there's one of
Beyonce one that did the rounds a few years ago, and it was like this is why you don't want all of the photos from a shoot. It was like Beyonce in just the most like it's just a very unflattering photo of Beyonce.
yeah, but like
It's like don't
why
post that.
like fucking delete it. You don't need to.
Nobody ever needs to see it ever again.
Yeah, like
I know whenever I see those photos of Rule, I'm always really confused because it's really, really hard to take a bad photo of Rule. So every time I see them, I'm like, how did you even... It's like a skill to take a bad photo. It's almost like the opposite.
Yeah, it's bad. And yeah, there's one of there's one really bad one of Aaron as well. I feel like there's one
Oh,
like
really?
semi bad one of me, but it's not like as bad. And Aaron is a handsome man. And
He is a handsome man. I was going to say, how
I
is
just
that
remember seeing it
possible?
and I'm like, what possessed you to to do that, to put that on the internet for people? Like you feel good about, oh look, he looks like shit. And it's like, yeah, man, you caught him in the split second before his head went back up while he was headbanging. How's he not
I
dead?
remember having a really like a quite a aggressive argument with someone about this who was a photojournalist, and he was about like, no, you have to shoot, like how they appear, and it's photojournalism, and you're not thinking about like like posting flattering shots. It's only about documenting what's there. And I was like, bro, are you a human being? Like, do you have any empathy or feelings, or like, can you imagine what that would feel like as the
Mm,
artist? Like, I just could not. And he just was just vehemently disagreeing with me, and I was just like, nah, I'm just not with you on this at all. I'm sorry.
yeah. What's that? Do you know that there's a fucking really famous New York photographer. I think his name's Bruce someone, but he takes the most disgusting, invasive flash photos really close to people's faces using a fisheye, and then
Oh wow.
he edits them with the clarity turned right up, and so you get this absolutely revolting.
I
Um,
don't know who that is. That sounds horrendous.
I'm going to,
See if you can find.
yeah, yeah, here he is.
Makes you look 80 years older, Mill Cities as dust.
Oh, wait till you see this shit. Bruce Gilden.
Bruce Gilden. Would he be on Instagram? Can
Yeah,
we
he's on
photography shame
Instagram.
him?
But just hang on a second. I'm just gonna. Whew.
Oh, he's a douche. R.I.P. Bruce.
Dude,
Bruce.
hang on. Here.
Okay. Alright, we've got it in the... Let me pull this up in the Skype. Hang on a sec. Oh! I wasn't expecting that.
No, it's bad, huh?
It's so bad.
And then,
Can I
hang
get
on,
the...
I just found this other one. You gotta share this with the people because it's. Oh, wait.
Where can I... Okay. Oh yeah, it's in the... They can see that, I think. I'll actually pull that up bigger so you guys can see it bigger. I just saved it in my... That's actually wild.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, that didn't open. Hang on a sec. Open with preview. There we go. That's open now.
But you gotta wonder whether these people know what he's gonna do with their head.
I think... Oh, you mean he actually died? Like Bruce Gilden died? I thought you were saying like it was a joke. R.I.P. After he gets called out on this stream. That's... Um... Oh my god. He has 241,000 followers. Well,
Yeah,
I feel
like
sorry for this man.
because he's like a famous photographer. He's taken some really incredible photos, and then he just went like fucking ham. But
Wow.
he's a Leica shooter.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah.
oh, where did that one go?
This is him.
But yes, okay, hang on a sec.
Take a look at the flash he's
Let's
holding.
pull it up. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. In the chat. Ah! I mean, he looks like a lovely guy.
He's just like a New York photographer, you know. I guess he's like fascinated by people, but it just started getting more and more extreme. And yeah, they're pretty violent photos
Yeah.
to me.
He looks like
I
a
mean, these
lovely
people,
old chap.
yeah, they're, you know, whatever. Some of them are filthy and they're probably like homeless or junkies or something. It just seems pretty.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Are they? You know how there's that. There was. I remember it was a thing a few years ago where lots of people were like documenting homeless people, and then it was kind of like trauma porn. It was just like
Yeah,
really
I
like
take
you know
photos.
had you got.
I take photos of homeless people, but I give them money.
Yeah, I've always wondered if people like ask permission and say,
Yeah, yeah.
or is it
I,
just like
if well, it
capturing?
depends for me. Like if I'm I think there's one in here. If I'm in the street and they're doing something and I'm there, I don't ask. Um, like this guy, like that
Ah,
is
yes, from yeah,
that's just interesting.
like documentation. Yeah,
That's just interesting because he was like the other photo. These people here were next to him,
yeah.
so
Oh wow,
that's like one situation.
very cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't ask all the time. If I take a picture of them where they're sleeping or whatever, I generally speaking stop and have a chat.
Yeah,
I'll chat.
yeah. I mean,
I'll
just
chat to them
they're
first.
people as well.
Yeah, I chat
Yeah.
to them first, and then I'll take the photo. Um, just because.
Someone asked before if you were aware of Nikki Sixx's photography at all.
Yeah, he's fucking amazing. It's insane. He's really,
I'm
really
not
good.
aware of it, so I actually need to
He
um,
is. He is extremely.
educate myself.
Yeah, yeah. He's really good.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I guess that's part of his recovery, actually,
Mm,
from drugs. Is like
yeah,
shoots a lot of really drug fucked people on Skid Row, but he frequented Skid Row, so it's like he
yeah.
gets like
What up, Hoffy? Welcome to the stream.
he gets like a really intimate look at those people, you know?
Yeah, that's because he's immersed himself
Yeah.
in that environment. Yeah, he's part of the environment. Um, I'm just seeing if there's any questions. By the way, we will say goodbye to Joel soon. He's given up over an hour of his time, which has been so lovely. But if you've got any last questions, there was a question that Benny wanted me to ask you. He couldn't make the stream, but he will be watching the VOD later on. And he wanted to know how you guys get the inspiration for your new songs. Where do you usually go for inspo?
Musically, it's usually just a chat in the band um, before we begin writing for a record and we decide what we want to do. Lyrically, unfortunately, I usually write when I have a depressive episode, and not really that much when I'm happy. Um, so it's been
Does it help with your depression when you're writing? Or is it just something that you're able to do more free? Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
it like
Yeah.
playing a show helps.
Yeah.
So outside of that, no, not really. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's a thing I do, you know. I was doing it before I played music, and I'll do it after I play music.
Mm. Yep.
Yeah, most things I do now, I did before the band, and will continue to do after the band. Maybe aside from music, perhaps, unless I do some like old man band.
Old man band. That would be so.
Yeah, you know, like
I'd come and see you in an old man band for
like
sure.
dad music, just standing still.
Dad music.
Yeah, slow song,
Yes.
standing still, wearing a
Is that the
suit.
name of the band? Yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny. During the last 18 months and stuff, have you 18 months or whatever time we've been not touring and stuff, have you been painting more and taking more photos and getting more into that sort of art?
No, because I take street photos mainly, and I live at
Yep.
I live at the beach.
You do live at the beach.
Yeah,
So-
so it's not the same. And like
yeah, that's
going like
yeah.
walking on the beach and taking photo of people in their swimwear is like, no, that's not me. I know like some people do it, and I don't know how they do it. It just seems pretty
It's
gross.
not your vibe.
No, it's like pretty like
That's funny.
street photography is really invasive, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like and and you know it can be um I don't know. I don't mind doing it because I don't mind fucking with people, and like I'm not scared of people in that
Yeah.
regard. And I've
Yeah.
learned how to do it kind of a bit more surreptitiously. So it's not that big a deal, but I don't know, there are definitely instances where taking people's photo is unethical and you shouldn't do it. And I think people are already pretty vulnerable on the beach. You know, a lot of people have issues around their body,
Yes.
and how it's seen, and you know, like
I'd say most people would have those issues, even people that you think might be confident
I
always
was
have
about
some
I was
type
about
of
to
hang
say
up.
that. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the way other people see you is so vastly different than the way you see yourself.
Yeah. Yes. We've had this actual conversation, so
Yeah,
yes, I agree.
I think you could easily project your feelings and think that someone thinks you're pretty disgusting in any
Yeah.
circumstance. I
Yeah.
know I do.
Agreed.
Like my self-esteem and self-worth take a battering just because of my mental health problems, and so I know how I feel, and I don't want to fuck
Mm.
with people because I would hate for that to happen to me. Whereas
Yeah, totally.
I've been the subject of people taking street photos, and I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, I don't know why I'm worth that photo, but if you want to take it, buddy, you go for it. um,
Yeah, that's so interesting. I remember we had, it was a while back, but I remember commenting, there was a photo where it was just a really stunning photo of you. Like it was just really, really gorgeous. And I commented that it was a beautiful photo of you. And you were just, I think you said something like that you didn't see yourself like that. And I was quite shocked, to be honest. I was like, it's
yeah.
just interesting that
Well,
it's just such a different perspective, you know?
yeah, we're all the same, you know. I think one
Yeah.
like really cool thing I've found with taking photos, and especially when I was taking photos of people um, while on tour, was like not only forcing myself to create a connection with people that loved the band and giving them a bit more of a personal insight, but also being able to see them better than they see themselves, and then
I
being
love that.
being able to show them like, look what I saw, and they're just like, what the fuck?
That's my favorite part. That's my
Yeah,
favorite part of what I
yeah,
do is when
and like
somebody loves the photo so much, you know?
yeah, and I've had a few of them like get really emotional because they're just like,
Mm.
I don't see that, and I'm like, well, that's
Mm.
there. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
nicest part of taking photos, I think.
I completely agree. Got a couple of questions here. Mill City's asked, what's your favourite major city that you've played a show? That's a good question. It's always hard to pick favourite cities, isn't it?
In America, it's New York. Um, just because of
Oh, do you remember we were in New York the same time?
yeah,
And like I was like so like wanted to make your show, and it was on the
yeah,
other side of the city and similar time that Rule was playing, and I
yeah,
was like, can we make it? And we just couldn't make it. I was so
yeah.
bummed.
Yeah, but I just because of my history with graffiti, it's like and rap. Like I don't know how many people
Yes,
know, but
yes.
I mainly listen to rap music. I don't listen to much heavy music at all. Um,
You would have loved that night. Pharaoh Monch actually came to visit me at Rule's show, so he was at the show.
See, I would have lost my fucking mind.
He came to say what up, so
I
that
just
would have
straight
been a
up,
good little
I just
meeting.
straight up, uh, just remember his line. You want to know who I am? Google triskaidekaphobia. And I was just like, I remember hearing that and being like, what? How did you fit that in a song?
He's an alien. He's
Yeah,
an alien.
yeah.
He's
So
like
there you go.
unbelievable.
Rap nerding right
Yeah.
this second.
Rap nerding.
Yeah,
Yes, I
like
love rap
I
nerding about Pharaoh
yeah,
too.
like the first time we visited New York City, I went straight to Queensbridge because I
Yeah.
was like, this is where NASA's from. I'm like, that's cool.
That's cool.
And I was
I
like,
love that.
like,
That's so cool.
yeah, like went to Brooklyn and yeah, went to Harlem where Big L got shot. Like my love for New York is different, I think. Um, like I fucking hate Times Square. Like
Hmm.
I hate the fact that the first time I went to Williamsburg, it was like still pretty hood and
Mm.
run down. And then the last time I went there, I was just like, what the fuck? It's like all bougie.
Super gentrified.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
all
yeah. It's really
bougie and there's
changed.
like fucking vegan cafes everywhere, which is cool for me to eat at. But I'm
Yeah, yeah. You can find what you need,
Yeah,
but
but I'm like bummed, you know what I mean? And I actually went
yeah.
there with Tom. We spent like 4 days there before one of our American tours, and he was just blown away. Like we went down to Philly and like I just showed him a bunch of shit. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like took him through the Hasidic Jew area,
Yep, yep,
and he was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, bro, this is where they live. It's like where all the Hasidic Jews live because
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like fucked for them. So they have to all live
Yeah.
in the same spot
Kind of
together,
live
you know? It's
together.
like, yeah, it's like a community for protection's sake. And you know, drove through some really hood spots in Philly and he was like scared.
It's so wild whenever you travel to America too, because we don't really have that experience here in Australia, but how different it can get really quickly.
In a block.
Like you can just, yeah, like a block,
Go the
literally a
you
block.
can go
So
the wrong way. Yeah.
yeah,
We went
yeah,
the
and
wrong
it's
way.
and we live in such a privileged country here. It's just like very rare that that happens here.
Yeah, we went the wrong way in Houston, the very wrong way. And we'd been walking for like 15 minutes and we were like, I haven't seen any bars and these houses look strange. And then this helicopter came over and it was the police and they were like on the loudspeaker, go back inside, armed gunmen on the loose, go back
Oh
inside.
my god,
And we were just like, we can't go inside.
we can't go inside. We're not in the right spot.
No, and then these people came out of their house and she was just like, what are you doing here, white boy? You trying to get in a fight? And we're just like, oh no, we're just trying to find a bar to
We're
drink it.
Australian. Forgive
And then
us. We don't know what we're doing.
yeah, and like I've been in like in a lot of different hoods in America, like proper hoods, and I have never felt that intimidated, but that particular night I felt so fucked. And
Yeah.
we found a bar and we were like, let's go in and call a taxi. And we like opened the door and we were like, let's not go into that bar. It's just like everyone just like stared at us. And I was like, this is
Yeah,
not
nah,
for us,
we're
guys.
good.
Yeah.
Not for us. We'll just
No.
keep
Yeah,
going.
we're just, yeah, everything's fine. See you later then.
We'll just.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Of Mice and Ben said, doing street photography helped with social anxiety.
Yes.
I'm just going to put that out there. That's great. I love that. Thank you for sharing. That's really cool. Sky said, Joel, how do you feel performing a song that you wrote while you were having a rough time and hearing the crowd sing it back?
Very, very emotional.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first 5 or 6 times we ever play a song are like pretty difficult to be honest, and then it just becomes like muscle memory after that. But
Yeah.
I still get like goosebumps in a lot of our songs. Yeah, it's emotional music for emotional people.
Mm,
We all get emotional.
yeah.
It's no different.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
But like even just being open with that and showing that I think is that's such a healthy positive thing for people to see, like men be emotional,
yeah,
especially in this country. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
really healthy.
Well, I'm a very emotional man. Um, Not by choice.
Mm,
But I'm like raising two boys, one who's a man now, a young man,
mm,
and I've taught him from a very young age. I remember I wrote him a letter for his 10th birthday, and I was like, you're a soft and gentle kid, and don't ever let go of that. I was like, you don't need to be
mm.
tough. Just be who you are. And I was like, just hold on to that. So I'm encouraging that with my two boys because I think it's important. Because men don't need to be tough. I think that's just it's
It's a myth,
not
isn't
a
it?
yeah, it's not a true representation of what a human being is, you know. You don't just walk
Yeah.
around like
Yeah, absolutely. Just covering and just like getting on with stuff that's traumatic or whatever as well. That's not the normal way with dealing with stuff is just burying it or whatever.
yeah, and some of my toughest mates are like the least happy with themselves because they're just constantly squashing their emotions. So they've
Yeah.
got like a lot of anger and it's like really easy to offend them because I'm like a bit more used to being pretty open with everything and like I
Mm.
you've been around us in the band and we're pretty brutal with the personal burns and everything and so I'm like I'm used to that because
That's pretty.
like
It's pretty normal with touring, actually. Like our whole touring parties, like you get a very thick skin. I
yeah
kind of like it, but
yeah
like
but then when you
it's because it's you love each other, like your family, so you
yeah
can do that.
yeah because we've definitely had people like we all laughed about it actually while we were in lockdown and like or not seeing each other and so many of our friends are just like, is this how you talk to each other? And we're just like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
They're like, you're really mean. It's just like, no, I'm not being mean. It's funny. And they're like,
it's fun.
it's mean. And
It's actually really mean.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm just fucking around. But
Oh wait. Yeah, yeah. No, I completely resonate with that as well. But I think, like you said, you're in this safe space of people that you know so intimately, and it's all love. Like
yeah,
you know that it's all love. It's so different than if you just a random person said that to you. That would be like, there's no way. That would be
yeah, well,
so
sometimes
damaging.
I just say those things. They just come out. So
They just come out.
yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked. Let me just find that question again because I thought it was a great question. Was something about where is it? That you don't like. Here we go. Knowing that you hate recording covers, which
Yeah.
one is secretly your favorite?
None of them. I hate
Do
them
you have a
so
favorite?
much.
Yeah.
I am embarrassed by them. Like, I'm embarrassed about every single
Oh
cover.
my god.
I'm embarrassed
All of them. Have you?
that some people don't know Born to Die is not our song. That's embarrassing to me.
Oh wow.
They're embarrassing. I don't understand the whole point of being in a fucking band playing original music is to write your own music, and I just get so upset. I'm just like, why are we doing this? This I've hated every single one. Every single one has been the most embarrassing, shameful personal experience for me recording them. I'm just like going red at the microphone. Just like I can't believe I'm doing this.
So there's like literally none that you secretly are okay with. You're just
No, I
like you're
fucking
absolutely
hate
hating
them.
them all.
No, I hate them. Yeah, I feel I'm getting like a little bit worked up even thinking about it.
I know. I feel like we need to move on from the covers topic. We're a bit nerve. my God. Sky said you're definitely breaking down barriers for men's mental health, helping normalize the fact that men have emotions and to embrace and accept that. I completely agree with that. And Kiki said, yeah, stupid ass gender norms.
Yes.
Being emotional, Gypsy J said being emotionally mature doesn't mean that you aren't tough. That is completely 100%
Yeah,
on the money.
I think as well that tough is a strange word, and people should strive to be resilient. But
Resilient, that's such a great word, especially for now.
Yeah, yeah.
What up, Soy? Nice to see you here. We're playing Soy's music on the stream today, guys. So give him a follow. He's an amazing dear friend of mine that allows me to play all of his music on my stream. So shout out to Soy. If one of the mods can give him a shout out, that would be amazing. You did Love is a Battlefield at Soundwave. Oh my God, we're going into the...
Also embarrassed.
Ask this question.
Also embarrassed.
What drove you to do that if you hate it so much? Aaron. It's Aaron's fault.
Aaron loves
Oh my God, let's blame Aaron. That's a great song, by the way. Love is a Battlefield. That is, what a jam.
Yeah, but
Pat Benatar. Yeah, is that Pat Benatar? I think
Pat
it is.
Benatar, yeah. But
yeah. Jam.
But yeah, that was embarrassing. Aaron loves them, and I've always said that this sucks. I said this is embarrassing, and he was like, nah. And then we did that last one, the weekend one, and we got so roasted.
Oh yes.
We got so roasted, and I was just like,
never again. You were like...
Yeah, never again.
Oh, you like...
I was so happy because
you were
I said
vindicated.
Yeah, I said never again, and after the reviews, it's never again.
Oh,
so
never again.
I was like,
that
like,
is so
this
funny.
Is embarrassing. This is bad behavior.
Oh my God. Brisbane Bin Chicken said, watching architects grieve so public over the loss of Tom helped show me how expressing your emotion is the toughest trait you can have. I saw the architects perform the first, what I think is one of the first shows at Unify, and I actually shot that set where everybody kneeled and it was pouring with rain. It was one of the most, I still have chills thinking about it, one of the most impactful things that I think I've ever shot in my life. It was, and I knew nothing about the band. My friend Ben had given me a bit of a background just before. So yeah, it was just wild to know that, like a bit of the backstory, and then seeing everybody just drop to their knees in the rain. Oh my God, it was just amazing. That set was just incredible.
Yeah.
So I completely agree.
Very good band.
Shelley just said she shot that set as well. It was, it's insanely good band live, actually. Yes. Well, I think we can wrap up the interview. It's been an hour and a half, definitely much longer than I expected to have you for today. So
That's
I
all right.
super appreciate your time.
Of course.
It's been so wonderful. This has been such a lovely chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. There's lots of love, lots of best interview, great interview in the chat coming through. So just to reiterate, for those who are interested in music photography that want to shoot an Amity show, follow me, subscribe, and enter the challenge that will be in 3 weeks' time, where we'll be recreating an Amity cover, and Joel's going to pick some people to shoot to get some passes for an upcoming Amity tour, which is very cool, lovely opportunity, and we super appreciate it.
I'll send you the logo and everything for them as well.
That would be so great.
I will not tolerate bad typography.
No. All right, guys, you've heard it from the man himself. No bad typography. What up, Inferno? Nice to see you in the chat as well. Thank you so much, Joel. We'll say goodbye. For those in the chat, we will hang around for a little bit longer, but we'll say goodbye now to Joel. Super appreciate it. Talk to you really soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Oh my God, that was such a good chat. Thank you so much to everybody that was asking incredible questions and keeping the chat going. That was really great. What